as a pastor, how are you now equipping others? Because you've been educated, you're educating, you've been equipped. Yeah. How are you now equipping others that are around you?
Yeah. So in the roles that I have, thankfully I get to be around people a lot, which is a really good thing. And so, small groups, I think it's just a part of healthy life, being in community with people. Yes. And so that's one way, honestly, just being in relationship through small groups, and have a number of small groups that I'm a part of, and multiple that I lead as a result of that and being in the role that I'm in. And so a lot of the equipping ultimately comes through those small groups. And the reality is that from a leadership position, those different groups kind of function in different ways that I'm leading, because they're different groups. Yeah. And so the way that we're leading, the things that we're going over, the things that we're concentrating on in those groups are different. So one of them is more focused on the Bible. So we press in more on the Bible. So as far as educating, navigating the things of the soul, fellowship kind of is a part of that group as well in certain contexts. That one's much more heavy that way. So we get into much deeper theological conversations in that group. Really, really, really great group. Wonderful group of guys, some people who love Jesus, pursue him, want to know his word, dive in deep. So really, really good group there. And then really our core team has some phenomenal leaders on it. That's good. And so the way that we are, and I know we're going to talk about empowering here in a little bit, but because of the leadership, and really a lot of these people are already equipped, though there's always that further equipping that happens. Yeah, that's good. So much of what happens in that core team context is to empower them to press into what God has called them to do, and then figuring out the areas along the way that there needs to be further equipping. And honestly, not just for them, but for me. Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. What are the areas God's growing me in that I need to be further equipped as he's called me to this leadership role? And then just from a very tactical perspective is where's God calling? So can I see ahead for the lane that he's called me to lead in, and therein the people, and help them press forward into where God's calling them as well. Therein recognize the areas they need to be further equipped and help them walk this process out. And so continuing to grow in that, and being better at equipping people to walk in the fullness of calling that God has on them. But a lot of my time and energy is focused on just that, is being able to help navigate with people. Where's God leading you? And then figuring out those areas and walking alongside them into